Dr. Ryan Weber from University of Alabama, Huntsville. He's the director of the tech writing department there. He will now introduce Mr. John Clement.
All right, thank you very much. Welcome, John. We're happy to have you here today. John Clement is an active volunteer in the Society for Technical Communication. He's a recent graduate of the University of Central Florida, UCF, where he majored in English Technical Communication and served as the president of the Future Technical Communicators Club for several years. In STC, he currently serves as the Student Outreach Director on the Community Affairs Committee and a member of the Membership Marketing Committee. He is passionate about student involvement, community building, and networking. His presentation today is called Tech Communication, a Lifetime of Learning. And in this presentation, John will discuss 3 places you should exert yourself as you grow as a technical communicator: classes, career, and community. And to avoid spoiling anything else, I'll go ahead and turn it over to John for the presentation. Welcome, John, and thank you for joining us today.
All right, thank you so much to both of you for the introduction, and also to everyone who came by, whether you're in the classroom, joining online, got friends, family, loved ones, and, just great to see everybody joining in and, celebrating, just celebrating TechComm too, because at the end of the day, that's what I hope to have as a takeaway from this presentation, just reasons to celebrate TechComm, and part of celebrating it is staying involved in it, recognizing how useful it is for a lifetime of learning, of satisfaction with what you're doing. It's a great field to be in, and I just hope to share a bit about just my experience in the field, a bit about kind of like my testimony of how I've gone through TechComm and where it's led me, and also just to hear from each of you and answer any questions that you might have, things like that. And I'll be going through details about all of that in some slides that I have, presentation that I've prepared, and then of course leaving questions at the end, because I definitely want to have this be an open discussion too, and to just hear from you. So all that being said, I just want to preface it by saying that I guess an honor to be here also, just to be able to present and share these experiences, because I graduated a few months back, this recent spring, and my years at UCF, at the University of Central Florida, were just really great because I was able to be in TechComm for the duration of it and just get so many things out of that. And just coming out of the other side of it now, even though I've been involved in STC and volunteering, just being in something like this and talking about my experiences from the other side of it, like with a degree in my hands, I'm like, wow, I'm really here, aren't I? So it's a little bit of a moment for me too. But it's great to reflect on that journey and hopefully, just help others who are also on that journey, because I'm also on it. If you're in TechComm, you're always going to be on that journey, because after all, it's something that you're continuously trying to just improve in. The communities you join are something that continuously help you out. It's something that sticks with you, and it's something that's definitely stick with me. Just TechComm and how it's played a role in lots of areas of my life. And so thank you all again for coming by, and I just want to officially introduce Technical Communication, a Lifetime of Learning, just a look into my experience with TechComm and how hopefully it can just impact you and your educational and professional journeys also. And so as a preface, always exert yourself to grow as a technical communicator, because a lifetime of learning is a perk to the career. And that's one thing that I really feel like is kind of like the epitome of what TechComm is, and also kind of, I feel like, the goal of every writer, because every writer, or really any communicator, has there's at least an intrinsic desire to constantly be outputting something, constantly be learning, to be engaged with what you're doing, because writing is an engaging thing. You're not just inputting and outputting things. You're not just doing a simple task. You're, especially in TechComm, it's an interconnected web of things that you're constantly learning. You're learning from experts. You're learning to utilize technical skills along with writing skills. You're constantly learning about the fields that TechComm connects to. You're sharpening your skills. You're meeting people. It's a lot of things, and that's something that can be overlooked when people look at TechComm, because they may think of it as, oh, I'm just writing manuals, and then that's it. Or for someone who's never heard of TechComm, they're just like, oh, it's just like editing, and that's it. But no, TechComm is so many things at once, and because of that, it touches so many fields, it touches so many different skill sets, and it touches many different people too. And with all that being said, if you enter, not just if you enter into TechComm, but if you take the time to deeply engage into the field and community of TechComm, you'll find that there's so many satisfying things to engage with that lead to this lifetime of learning. And that's honestly a perk of the career, because being in TechComm, there are definitely other perks to the career, like it being just something that lets you use the skill set that you have, or something that is also just a good stable career path, but also for those who have a curious mind, those who are always seeking to just get to know more things, not just having gained knowledge, but the process of learning. And that's something that is really valuable. And just colleagues that I've spoken to have said the same. Just the process of learning is something that's so not unique to TechComm, but something that's invaluable to those in TechComm. So if you have a curious mind, or even if you just want to constantly be just sharpening yourself and meeting new people, TechComm is the place for you. And I mean, if you're in this call, chances are you've chosen TechComm. If you're not, welcome to TechComm. It's going to be a great place for you. And so all that aside, that's just a preface to why a lifetime of learning is a valuable thing. But dialing back a little bit too, I spoke a little earlier about my own background, but in full detail. So I should have mentioned this earlier. I am involved in a few different areas of UCF. I was in the Future Technical Communicators Club, which is, it has close relations to the STC Florida Chapter. So that's where I kind of got my involvement started. And I've also been involved in STC at various levels, like in our Florida chapter, also in a few different volunteering committees at the national level. I just gotten to meet so many great people because of it. And just the culmination of all those things is that TechComm is kind of, it's, well, not even kind of, TechComm has shaped where I am in terms of being a learner, a lifetime learner, where I am in my career, and also just where I am personally too, because of the people I've met, both in my own professional life and personal life. Just so many things have helped out. But I want to dive into a little bit about each of the involvements too. Just take a few moments. So the Future Technical Communicators Club at UCF, that's where I first started really diving into TechComm, because it was calls just like professionals coming in and talking about their career experiences. Well, back then they were in person, and it was in my sophomore year, 2019, when I first joined that club. And oftentimes they would, for their big main meeting of the year, they would bring in professional technical communicators from STC to talk to students about their careers, how they got where they are, the value of being in TechComm, different areas of TechComm, really just talking about things that are valuable to students. So when I first joined the club, I knew I wanted to be in TechComm. And there was a part of me that always knew I wanted to be a writer and to get into English, but it was only until like my senior year of high school that I sharpened into TechComm. But even then, I was still, it's a question that's on a lot of people's minds in TechComm all the time. What exactly is TechComm? And am I even a technical communicator? Because it's such a broad field sometimes, and it's easy to be like, well, I don't have all the skills, or I don't know all the things about it, so I don't feel like I have my place in it. But just being able to hear advice from professionals led me to kind of know where I wanted to focus on. Like, oh, I do like editing. Maybe I can go into something that has editing. Or I do like design. I'm glad that I do like graphic design. I'm glad there's a place for that in TechComm, and kind of sharpen down where I wanted to go. So I just attended meeting after meeting. I got more and more involved. Eventually, I stepped into leadership as the club's vice president and helped them organize similar events, being on the other side of that. And then eventually moved on to becoming its president in the spring of 2020. And that's where I was able to really just dive deep into my involvement, because I mean, beyond just being president, just being involved in the club, because I like to think sometimes, what more is a leader in any position than someone who's just a very, very engaged member? Because the best leaders don't just put things into their community. They also don't know to look from the membership side of things, and are always absorbing knowledge, always for themselves, and so they can pour back onto other people. So that club is really what sparked that involvement sense in me in terms of TechComm. And from there, it pivoted into getting more involved with STC, through my local chapter's meetings, its mentorship program, getting involved at the national level through volunteering opportunities, like with the community affairs committees, the student outreach, because I figured through my work as the president of the club, I figured out that I just really enjoy the communication part of technical communication. And so that's something that I help with in STC, just outreach and just sending messages, delivering presentations, things like that. So all that can drive back to the home. There is a place for you in TechCom, no matter what kind of things you like. And leading up to where I am today, I just recently graduated and I'm an alumni of UCF now, still helping out the club how I can and always trying to give back, the FTC, and definitely involved in STC, in leadership and with aspirations to just continue to grow and learn and meet new people. Because I'll show later, the one thing about STC that never gets old, or the one thing about just any involvement in the organization at all, is the networking and community. Because I joined for the resources, but I did stay for the community. And that's something that really just perpetuates a cycle of learning, growing, meeting people, learning from them, growing more, meeting new people. So as I dive more into that, I'll show some examples too. But yes, each of these three things, and kind of as I'll talk about classes, career, and community, really did help evolve my TechCom journey. And to wrap it up, or the About Me section at least, the connections and networking of STC also helped me land my current job of where I am today through a series of steps. Just networking and learning about positions through just meeting people, job postings. So if you want a head start on your career, just be present. Be present in communities that are there to help you grow. And so a little more into that. How do you grow in TechCom? Well, classes, learning, and career. 3 different areas you can grow. One of them, in terms of classes, absorb knowledge from class and in your own time, because technical communication is a field where there's no limit to how much knowledge you can gain, and there's really no reason to not continue to gain knowledge. And in your classes, you can learn about the foundational skills that you need in TechCom, such as writing, editing, group collaboration, and even some coding skills. But it's just as useful too to outline which classes, if you have a choice, especially of which classes you can pick in your major or track. Definitely pick those that kind of align with your own interests too, because maybe you want to look into management or a team-oriented role. Try to go for a class that has that. Or maybe you're really focused on editing. Make sure you read up on editing, and even if you're in that class, just be the person who just looks deeply into it and maybe even seeks things outside of class if it interests you enough. And speaking of outside of class, learning doesn't have to stop in the classroom too. You can always look for external resources. Like if you want to code, there's resources to learn online. If you want to learn about different topics in TechCom, there's always different presentations that are out there. And even if you want to do it in your own curriculum, there's so many technical communicators who pick up a minor in something that they're interested in, or a certificate, or something of that related nature, and just tie it into TechCom. Because the great thing about it is that learning only stops when you want it to in TechCom. You can always tie it into something. And whatever your interest is, you can bet that there is a company out there who wants you to write about it. And so if you're interested in it, look out for it and always be sharpening your TechCom skills. And on top of that, attending presentations too. There are so many opportunities and presentations to go to. And especially now that things, especially now that so many opportunities and meetings are virtual, you can attend meetings on any topic from anywhere, or even watch recordings, especially in STC and its educational offering. I'm definitely an advocate for that, because me from Florida, so far away, is able to just connect with places like this chapter and with each of you, and each of you who are in North Alabama, for example. And so many other ways that I've been able to learn have been through just attending things and hopping onto calls and talking to people who I connect with online. Because the people who are behind, the people who are running those, the professionals who participate in those events or who you reach out to are just as passionate about TechCom as you are and are more than often happy to talk about it with you. So put yourself out there and just attend things, reach out. And then beyond that, career-wise, get out there and look for opportunities in the industry. And if you do that, if you just put yourself out there and ignore the fact that maybe you're still just early on in college, or you're not sure if TechCom is the place for you. And there have been several colleagues who I've talked to who are in that exact same place, but just the encouragement to just go for it really has ground behind it, because sometimes you don't know where you want to be until you've narrowed down your options, or until you get there. Because you can apply for internships, whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, apply for jobs, whether you're in any of those places. And even if you think that, oh, you don't have all the qualifications, or you're not sure if you're ready for this, you never know until you try. And more than often, just being there is a learning opportunity in and of itself. So never shoot anything down, because the only thing that can happen is you apply somewhere, maybe you don't get it, then you try again. And then eventually all you need is that one yes, and then, oh, you do get to that place. And you go there, you learn, and you decide whether or not it's for you. And that's one door open for you that opens up so many other doors. So always just take initiative career-wise, and never be afraid to just keep putting yourself out there. And so really all of these things, what they have in common, classes, learning, and career, is just looking for things that are out there and putting yourself out to them. Because there's nothing stopping you from that opportunity out there that's waiting for you, except for you. If you want to shoot for something, then you have all the opportunities to shoot for it, whether that be your time that you spend looking for those opportunities, or attending presentations, or even just the effort of volunteering for something or leading in something, just putting yourself and exerting yourself. Those efforts pay back in dividends. Whether or not you know it at the time, they eventually always do. And here are a few benefits of involvement in terms of STC. So I talked a little bit about how my university TechCom club, FTC, has shaped me in my TechCom journey, just gave me the foundation to start learning about the field and make connections with professionals, make connections with peers. I talked about the value of exerting yourself in your classes, career, and there's other areas of your TechCom journey. And now here's a direct application of it, joining a STC. And there are so many areas of TechCom that really are just waiting for you to indulge in them, especially so many areas of STC that just want you to make use of them. Like just membership in STC, it grants you so many things. It grants you educational and career information. You can get scholarships and honors. And I'll be pitching about those in a little bit, because there are some that are out right now. Like if you're an STC student member, or you're apply to be one soon, you can go for them. There are mentorship opportunities where you can get personalized growth and advice, which so many great things to say about just the value of having a mentor, or just having professionals who have already been through it to talk to and hear advice from. And then of course there's volunteering. If you want to take the extra step beyond learning, beyond receiving advice, you can get opportunities to develop yourself and get experience in the field just by volunteering some of your time to help out your local community in STC, or helping out the larger community on the national level, working on projects, or just helping out with things, just like how I have been helping with outreach on a couple of levels in STC. Just by putting yourself out there, you can gain experience. And that's a tip too, for if you're wondering the age-old question of, like, how do I get these opportunities without experience? Like, oh, I just got out of college. Why are they asking for these years of experience? And to be fair, that's a valid question, but that's a topic for another day. But if you do happen to want to know how to get experience, one of those ways is just by volunteering, and volunteering in STC, or just being a leader in your local STC community. That's one way to say you've been working with professionals in the field. Maybe you've worked on a few projects in TechCom while your time volunteering there. That's something you can definitely bring up in the future. You can put it on your resume. It helps you personally, all while helping your community too. And so each of these are areas that are benefits of involvement in FTC. And a bit on my specific involvement in STC. So I'm on a few different committees in at the STC national level, as well as I support my local Florida community of STC. So with the Florida chapter, I found that one of the ways I wanted to give back was by, well, in return for exactly what I got out of it. Because one of the main reasons I joined STC Florida and made the commitment to become an STC member is because of the Florida chapter's mentorship opportunities. And that's something that really benefited me because my mentorship experiences have really shaped how I go about my TechCom journey. The mentors I've had have been able to help me sharpen my TechCom skills, help me sharpen my leadership skills, and even just become lifelong colleagues and friends too. My first mentor was able to just help me with the foundations of TechCom, and that was in my sophomore year, teaching me things like what areas of TechCom exist, what skills do I want to learn in TechCom? For example, just how do I use certain software programs? How do I make the most out of something like Microsoft Word, which may seem simple on the surface, but when he started showing me the tips and tricks, I could have sworn he was a wizard because I had never seen all the things that it was capable of. And it just made me realize how much there is to learn. And my second mentor, who I currently have now, she has been just an amazing just boon on my TechCom journey, and also just a great friend to have too, because she has been able to be with me as I stepped into STC leadership, and really just helped me find my place in TechCom, figuring out that which areas I want to sharpen down and narrow into. I found that I have an eye for editing things. I found that I really enjoy graphics, and she helped me find tools where I can practice that and make use of it to contribute to different projects or gain experience that I can help put on my portfolio or my resume. And also just helped me get some of the STC opportunities that I currently have, because just pointing me in different directions, and also just giving me the same encouragement that I gave to each of you earlier of, even if you're not sure of if you want to or can do it, you should absolutely go for it. Because my mentors have absolutely been there for me in times when I have personally said, either at the very start, all right, so I'm in TechCom, but what is TechCom? Can you explain to me what TechCom is besides, writing, editing manuals? And then also just the questions of what's my place in TechCom? Because that was just as big of a question for me, where I wanted to go, and also how much I wanted to push myself and where I wanted to go, where I wanted to contribute. So all that being said, being able to support STC Florida with mentorship is because mentoring was something that's valuable to me. And I encourage each of you also who are involved or will get involved in STC to just become a member and see all the opportunities that are available to you, and just make the most out of them. Continue learning and absorbing knowledge. And then when the time comes, maybe you want to exert yourself or give back to your community, consider helping out in the areas that helped you out, because really volunteering and leadership doesn't feel like work when you're passionate about it. Like, for example, me helping with the mentoring program in my local chapter, it doesn't feel like work, because when I'm doing it, I'm taking ideas from when I was a mentee of, oh, what sort of things should we do when promoting this year's round of the mentoring program? Or, oh, what things would be good to, implement into this year? Or what questions should we ask our current round of mentees? Or just organizing the program and helping make those pairings is something that I'm passionate about. So volunteering and putting yourself out there doesn't have to be something that is too much at any time, because really when you're doing something you enjoy, it doesn't feel like work at all. And the same goes for all of TechCom and all the ways that you involve yourself. So really just find something that you're passionate about in the field and go all in it and go all for it, because then you're going to be growing faster than you realize, because you're just doing these things subconsciously, really. You're thinking about them, you're growing, and you're finding joy in them. And all those are really reasons to be involved in STC.
Hello, my name is Heather McCain, and I'm president of the Huntsville, North Alabama chapter of the Society for Technical Communication. We are known locally as STCNA. First, STCNA is the leading professional resource for technical communicators in North Alabama. It was formed as a chapter in 1959. Second, STC advances the arts and sciences of technical communication. STC members come from various industries and roles, and members can join local chapters and special interest groups, or SIGs. Third, STC membership provides opportunities for ongoing learning and professional networking. Members have access to a society member roster, a job bank, and an annual salary survey. Educational webinars and online courses are available to members for free or at a reduced cost. There is an annual STC 2020 Summit Conference, which brings professional technical communicators together for a week of networking and learning, and 2020 was entirely virtual. And locally, we have meetings from January through December, except for the summer months. Prior to April of this year, our meetings were on location, but we are changing to have more of an online meeting presence. Lastly, there is an event coordinated by Dr. Ryan Weber for UAH and the STCNA. It is called the Rocket City Technical Communication Mini-Con. This event focuses on networking and learning from professionals in our local community. So we hope to see you at an STC meeting in the future. If you would like more information, please contact us through our website. And remember that STCNA partners with volunteers to help them build their careers. Thank you.